Now let's make the function to create these dots. I drag the function myFunction encode block under functions here. Let's give the name of the function here as createDots. When calling this function, it needs to be given as the name of the function, the number of dots that needs to be created, the x and y positions of the dot rows. To make space for this, I will click twice on the arrow on the right side. Here, let's give as numDots. Here, it is given as x underscore COOR, and here it is given as y underscore COOR. Since there are many dots per line, we can easily create a dot line by using a for loop. I click Ctrl and drag the for code block into the function code block here. Here, the number of times required to repeat the code block cannot be specified. When the function is called, this loop needs to repeat a number of times equal to the number we give as numDot. For that, I keep this the same way. For that, I keep the variable called I in the same way as 0. How do we give the condition here now? If I start from 0 and repeat until the I is smaller than numDots, isn't it right? Let's give as numDots here to the right side of the smaller than sign. Since the value of I should increase one by one, I keep this I++ code block as it is. Now let's create dots. For this, I drag a var sprite equal code block here. The name of the sprite is given as dots. We need to give the x and y position of the dots as well as the width and height of the dots to the right side of this equal sign. To make space for that, click twice on the arrow on the right side. A specific x and y position dots cannot be given here for these. We need to create dots here according to the x and y position given when we call the function. Since all the dot rows we need are horizontal dot rows, the y position of the entire dot row is in the same value, but the x position changes dot by dot. When we call the function, only one value is given for the x position. That value can be taken as the relevant x position for the first dot in the dot row. We need to find the x position for the other dots in the row based on this value. Let's always create the next dot 20 times ahead of the first dot. For the first dot, it can be taken as the x position we give, that is x underscore COOR. For the second dot, it needs to be x underscore COOR plus 20. For the third dot, it needs to be x underscore COOR plus 40. For the fourth dot, it needs to be x underscore COOR plus 60. We can also find the value of this x position by I. For the first dot, I equals 0. X position equals x underscore COOR plus 20 into 0. For the second dot, I equal 1. X position equals x underscore COOR plus 20 into 1. For the third dot, I equal 2. X position equals x underscore COOR plus 20 into 3. So, we can give the x position as x underscore COOR plus 20 into I. Let's drag a code block with the addition sign under math to place where we want to give the x position in this code block. To the left side of the addition sign, x underscore COOR is given, and to the right side, a code block with the multiplication sign is dragged from under math. Let's give 20 here and give I here. The y value which we give when we call the function for all the dots as the y position can be used. Therefore, here it is given as y underscore COOR. Let's give the width and height of a dot to 5 each. Next, for dots, a color should be given. Let's click sprites and drag a sprite.shape color code block here. The name of the sprite is changed to dots and the color is given as orange.